If there's any segment in our industry that is absolutely mathematical and scientific, it's got to be OEM integration. And the specialists at PAC have figured it all out, not only with one product, but with an entire suite of OEM integration solutions to make your life easier, your customer happier, and get that sound system into those vehicles that are coming into your shop. Today, we've got product expert Jeff Smith joining us, and we're going to go one by one through all the important items that you need to know when it comes to integrating into modern vehicles. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about PAC, and it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. OEM integration is the discussion today, and I've got the man who has the answers. Of course, we're talking about Jeff Smith. Jeff, this is a category which I know you are personally very invested in, very passionate about, but also this is the DNA of PAC. This is what PAC does. This is what you excel in, and boy, do you ever have an offering that stores could really dig into and be successful with. So give us a quick breakdown of what we plan to cover on today's session.
Ben, you hit the nail on the head. OEM integration, I'm fired up and ready to go. PAC has been known as the CAN bus integration experts for years. Today, we're going to pull out the entire royal flush of products. We're talking RadioPro, AmpPro, CanPro, the new hotness, line output converters from the LockPro Advanced series, LPH harnesses, APH harnesses. It's game on today, Ben. We're going to bring it.
Whew, we've got a pumped up Jeff Smith in the studio today, but first, a quick opportunity for our partner SiriusXM to remind you dealers out there why you should love it. And when we come back, we're talking OE integration with PAC and Jeff Smith.
Hey guys, Ricky Lima here from SiriusXM. I had a chance to speak to some dealers and ask them what they love about selling SiriusXM. Here's what they had to say.
Coast-to-coast coverage.
I love SiriusXM for commercial-free music.
It's a great add-on sale and a profit opportunity.
We love selling SiriusXM because you can listen to the same channel coast to coast.
Profitability and ease of installation. It's a no-brainer.
We love selling SiriusXM for its ease of installation, great profitability, and reliability.
People love it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Getting into OEM integration right away. Jeff mentioned a whole slew of different products, but first, let's understand what's happening right now in the bays. You guys are seeing new vehicles come in. Every new vehicle seems like a new adventure. There's so many different scenarios, whether it's you want to add an amp, you want to add a subwoofer, you want to use the original source unit. Many things encompass this OEM integration category. Jeff, what are you seeing right now that are the biggest challenges for shops?
Honestly, Ben, modern day integration for most shops is more about, in my opinion, is more about knowing the solutions that are out there from your manufacturer partners. Vehicles today seem like they're getting more and more complicated. They are, but there's so many different products out there. There's an entire toolbox available to installers and shops to be able to get into these vehicles, no matter if it's a vehicle that's non-amplified and you have to fight all pass filters and needing load resistors, or if it's a more advanced premium amplified system that you need to have data bus solutions. The answers are out there. The solutions are out there. It's just going to take people tuning into a great program like CMA Networks and finding out all the information that we manufacturers provide, and knowing and having the ability to use all the tools we set in front of them to be able to be the expert when that customer comes in with these modern vehicles.
Jeff, I couldn't have said it better ourselves. We strive to give you guys, the dealers, the right information so that you can succeed, because the last thing we want you to say to customers is no. So let's keep it on the yes track and get in with our first product on the discussion today. A big one. This has been a very popular unit. Many of you tuning in have already used this at some point, but just kind of break it down for us and maybe some updates on the very, very popular RadioPro solutions from PAC.
When looking to add an aftermarket head unit into a factory system, one of the key things you want to be tuned into is what is available from the factory as far as features and what connections you need for an aftermarket radio. This is exactly where PAC's RadioPro family of interfaces saves the day. RadioPro is a T-harness solution that connects between your aftermarket radio and your OEM system. It has everything that you need to retain steering wheel controls, data bus information to turn on amplifiers, retain backup cameras. You have the ability to work in amplified and non-amplified vehicles, steering wheel control integration, and also rear seat entertainment in some vehicles. The platform of RadioPro was developed many years ago when the need to reduce the amount of boxes that goes behind the dash came to be a serious need. PAC went above and beyond, being the CAN bus experts that we are, and mashed all three of these modules, a data bus module, a vehicle harness, and the integration side of it, all into one small box solution. We currently make the RadioPro series in many different platforms: Audi, Volkswagen, Honda, GM platform, Ford, many others. We even took it so far to have this series of RadioPros available in different series. RadioPro 3 for your more basic entry level, RadioPro 4 that includes steering control information, and then RadioPro 5 that has all of the above: data integration, steering control integration, telematics, everything that you could possibly want. RadioPro modules have expanded over the years from the earlier versions to the now RadioPro Advanced models. RadioPro Advanced models have the ability to integrate your vehicle even further. Now that we have the ability to tap into your vehicle's data bus and connect that to our aftermarket radio, like the Stinger High 10, but we also included a lot of new features that installers really love. We added the ability to increase the amount of 100% integration with a better connectivity to the radio by only using the high level inputs, because not every radio is going to have a 4-volt output on the RCA. Being able to take that high level input directly into one of our RadioPro Advanced modules means you're going to have a better audio solution in every scenario. Also giving you the ability to select different brands of radios as far as steering controls via our dip switch connectivity that came along with our CP2 universal steering control module. All of that technology built directly into a RadioPro makes a huge advantage as well. And we know that sometimes you want to keep RadioPros around and not have to deal with old inventory. So we make sure that each RadioPro is also 100% updatable, so that no matter when your customer comes back, when there's a change in the data bus from the OEM manufacturer, when there's a change in a feature from the big radio brands, we want to make sure that you can simply connect your RadioPro directly to your computer, update the software, and that unit is as brand new as if it came off the manufacturing floor. So RadioPro modules are 100% available to you from many vehicle platforms to provide you the entire connectivity between your OEM system and your aftermarket radio right into your vehicle.
Now, to level up those RadioPro devices even further, there are also application-specific kits, especially for those harder to deal with ones that need an all-inclusive solution. Jeff, can you walk us through or maybe show us what one of these kits may look like?
Sure, 100%, Ben. This is our RadioPro 4 kits. This takes the RadioPro Advanced modules that would typically be for any vehicle within a series of vehicle platforms: Ford, GM, Honda, VW, Audi, any of those platforms. And let's talk about as the vehicles have progressed. And now you have vehicles such as the Dodge Chrysler Jeep platforms, your newer Ford platforms, that just putting in a standard kit with a universal radio replacement module is not going to be the answer. We have kits that have taken the RadioPro Advanced module, along with being able to integrate into the vehicle's data bus and be able to now give you climate control information, TPMS information, camera information, everything that you need in a single box solution with that RadioPro Advanced connectivity to give you the ability to add any aftermarket radio, single DIN, double DIN, regardless of the trim level of the radio, to still give you all that information in the kit. We have these RadioPro kits available for Jeep Cherokee, for Dodge Ram, for Durango, for Honda Accord, for the Chevy Camaro, for Ford F-150. There's so many different availabilities of the RadioPro 4 kits. And a lot of people may get confused because they've seen the kits we make for our Stinger High 10. This has no bearing on what head unit you use. These are 100% open platform, ready to use with any brand of radio. It includes the plastics and the electronics to add an aftermarket radio to this platform of vehicle with everything you need in the box. RadioPro 4 kits with RadioPro advanced technology.
All right, so it's obvious that PAC has got you covered when you're trying to replace the factory radio with an aftermarket radio with all these great RadioPro and RadioPro kits. Now, here comes a situation which everybody's dealing with. Obviously, this is an everyday type of thing. We want to get the signal and use and retain the factory radio, so we're going to have to find a way to get that signal. Well, this is going to mean a couple of steps, and we're going to start with step one because they've got a device which you probably already know about, but let's learn all the details about the LockPro series.
When looking at retaining the factory radio in a system, the first thing you're going to want to know is understanding whether the system is amplified or non-amplified. If the thought process is audio integration, replacing the radio is not an option in most of these vehicles. So integrating into that system is going to require the skill to figure out exactly which integration parts are going to go into this installation. From the most basic of integrations, let's start with a non-amplified solution. Something like this would be our LockPro Advanced modules. LockPro Advanced are our line output converters that can handle entry-level, low-level input all the way up to high-powered amplified system capability. So you have the ability now for a complete suite of active line output converters. This is the difference that most installers and technicians need to understand, that line output converters have advanced from your standard SNI 15, SNI 34, basic passive devices to now active line output converters. Okay, the LPA series of line output converters are available in 5 different models. You have something as basic as your 1 series, that's a metal chassis, requires power and ground input, has load resistors built into it, along with the selectable ground isolation, gain precision, match pair gain adjustments, and clip output clip light indicators. So something like the 1 series is going to take up to 20 volts of input and be able to give you out the low level signal that you need. Stepping up from the LPA1 series, you're going to go up to the 2 series. These are going to be available to you in 2-channel input and 2-channel output, or 2-channel input and 4-channel output. These guys are going to be a sure winner for your standard installations, being able to add 4-channel non-fading systems and subwoofer systems into a vehicle. Then, of course, we're going to step up to the big boy, the LPA E4, that's going to be a true 4-channel line output converter that has the ability to retain fading, come with your load resistors, come with the sub-level control built in. It has bass boost. It has the ability to take up to 40 volts of input on all of the input channels. It has everything that you need to be able to add a easy system upgrade to a factory non-amplified system from the LockPro Advanced series of line output converters.
All right, as we go down this journey of integration, we've now come to another situation whereby you're getting a vehicle in your bay and it's got a factory amplified scenario. What do you do then? Well, you reach for something called the AMPRO.
Newer vehicles with premium amplified systems have extremely integrated data bus communication between the head unit and the amplifier, which in most cases is going to require way more input channels or way more technology above and beyond what a standard line output converter or a multi-channel input summing device would be able to handle. Then this is where the need and the thought forward thinking process of the engineers within our PAC team came up with a product such as AmpPro. These T-harness plug-and-play systems are available for many different platforms and have proven themselves to be a sure winner for a number of years in our industry. And we keep forging forward with new platforms and new applications to be able to stay in front of all these newer vehicle platforms and give you a 100% accurate, correct solution for adding aftermarket amplifiers to these premium amplified vehicles. Now, some of the models that we currently have available are going to be for your GM platform, for your 19 and older, depending upon your factory IO system. Then you are going to have Ford platforms that have advanced anywhere from the original Sony systems to your blended Sony B&O systems, and even now the dedicated B&O systems. We have our widely popular Dodge Chrysler Jeep platforms, from your AP4 CH21, your APH CH41, then that escalated up to the APH CH41 R2. That is literally the highest selling AmpPro model that we have, because of the compatibility that it does with many different vehicle applications, whether it's amplified or non-amplified. Then we have our Toyota family of AmpPros as well, from the TY11, TY12, TY13, and it has escalated and evolved over the years to work with the JBL synthesis, the current JBL, and even crossing over into some of the Lexus platforms with the current TY13 R2 platform as well. So Ben, the AmpPro solution is a T-harness. Let's start there. This is a T-harness that makes connectivity to these modern vehicles extremely easy and correct. This T-harness then provides the fixed level signal from a factory amplified system that, even if you were to connect a line output converter of any brand directly to that fixed level signal, you have no control. You've just lost your steering wheel controls. Sometimes you lose chime capability. You have other data inputs for Bluetooth and other things like that. So just grabbing that fixed level signal from the OEM head unit is not the solution. But for the CAN bus experts, it is the solution, because now we have the ability to grab that fixed level signal along with tapping into your vehicle's data bus and then bringing it all together in a perfect situation to be able to give you a product like the PAC AmpPros. These particular modules take that 2-channel input, bring it into the unit, then we take it and divide it between 3 sets of RCAs. Each one of those RCAs have the ability to produce a 100% clean output, unclipped, up to 5 volts. If 5 volts is too much for your amplifier, there's a switch inside that you can move a single dip switch and drop that output down to a maximum of 4 volts. We also have the ability, and we've kind of reinvented the wheel here with a lot of the industry, the newer generation, of using Toslink optical output. The Toslink optical output is a 2-channel output that is going to be completely noise-free in the vehicle and provide you one of the cleanest inputs to an aftermarket DSP or DSP amplifier. Now, that Toslink input is available in certain models built directly inside, but all of the other units adding the APA TOS1 Toslink adapter can be added to the AmpPro product. Now, AmpPros are meant to give you that stepping stone as a single box solution to integrate into these modern vehicles. So what happens when we go from standard vehicle applications such as LockPro and you go into AmpPro, and then you have a need for different vehicle platforms? AmpPro works, like I said, in many different applications. There are the Chrysler module that works the AP4 CH41 R2. Ben, if I told you there wasn't a line of dealers outside waiting for this particular unit because they understand the magic that is within this box. Having to figure out load resistors for this year, for that year, when to use them, when not to use them for Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep platforms. Pretty much when they have the new CH41 connector, that large 52-pin connector, this was a game changer of not having to think too much and having to go above and beyond the Call of Duty when integrating into these vehicle platforms. The CH41 set the standard, and still to this day is the highest selling AmpPro that we make, being able to convert amplified and non-amplified vehicles into the perfect connection for aftermarket audio equipment. The newest family member is going to be our AP4 FD31, and this works with the modern AVB or B&O platform from the Ford family of products. This is going to work in the new Mach-E, the Bronco, the Lightning, F-150, F-250, all of these vehicle platforms, and be able to connect into that Ethernet data bus system and give you all the outputs you need for retaining the OEM system and then adding all the high performance aftermarket audio gear that we want to sell to our customers and integrate into these vehicles. So, evolution of product from LockPro to AmpPro are the easiest way in order to bring customers together and bridge the gap between your aftermarket audio equipment and your advanced factory OEM system from your vehicle's platform. AmpPro, you cannot go wrong with this application. The only thing we're doing here on the pack side of things is continuing to advance and build more and more of these platforms. And you'll see after the first of the year, some really new cool models come out for some of the vehicles that everyone's been waiting on. Solid solutions every time. AmpPros are always a go-to for most shops and installers.
All right, so Jeff, you've taken the time to walk us through some of the major modules that every shop should really have in stock, ready to go for any scenario. But can you share with us, maybe dive a little bit deeper, take off another layer, and let's go over some of the hidden gems or other tools that could really help installers that they might not really know about?
So the thought process is, what could we do to help installers in the Bay, technicians in the Bay, to make life that much easier, to make installing our products or installing any of the product brands that we have under our vast umbrella that much easier. And it came to us because a lot of us within our company are installers and have been installers for years, and we're constantly getting our hands dirty in vehicles, is with the thought process of T-harnesses, right? When T-harnesses came along, remote start life became simple. When AmpPros came along, T-harnessing into these modern data bus vehicles was a no-brainer. So we thought about it. We make something really unique like a LockPro device or a LockPro Advanced device, but wiring into these sometimes can be cumbersome for technicians. What if we came out with a LockPro T-harness? This is where LPH harnesses came into play. Ben, we make these for so many different vehicle platforms, and they're not super expensive. But what these do is they inherently make your installation of a line output converter as simple as plugging in a T-harness. You have the vehicle side of it, you have the radio side of it, you have the ability to ensure that you can get 4-channel high level from your factory non-amplified LockPro LPH non-amplified system and be able to go right into high level input of a line output converter, high level input into an aftermarket amplifier that has 4-channel high level input capability, or if you only need 2 channels. The entire premise here was to make a entry level installer as good of a mid-level or a high-end super experienced installer by creating T-harnesses and making life that much simpler. We make this for the Ford platform, Chevy platform, Honda, Hyundai, Tesla, Dodge, Volkswagen, what European platform that covers Volkswagen and Audi and a few others. There are so many different applications to make LockPro harnesses a sure, hands down, this is something you should have around. Because think about how many times you've had to cut into a vehicle because someone had phasing wrong, someone had left and right wrong, someone had, front and rear wrong, or whatever it is. In the applications for these harnesses, being able to give this to anyone in your bay, being able to ensure that the installation, the connectivity to the vehicle is going to be as simple as plugging into the factory side, plugging into the radio side. And now that we've added these little male and female connectors in the middle, now we make connecting to your devices that much simpler. Check this out, Ben. You've connected into the vehicle. Now, if you're only going to do a subwoofer system, now you're going to connect into it with the subwoofer harness. And now you have that signal to be able to connect directly back into that system and be able to only get the 2 channels out to now provide 2 channels of high level signal directly into a 2-channel or mono amplifier or directly into a 2-channel line output converter. And we haven't cut a single harness in the vehicle. Now, let's say we're going to do a 4-channel installation. We have the same T-harness. We're going to plug into the vehicle side for the 4-channel in order to be able to get the signal from the OEM radio. Now we're going to take that same side and then plug into the speaker side. So now we've taken speed wire and run back up to the front of the vehicle in order to tap into our speaker wires. So now we've added a 4-channel line output converter or ran 4 channels of high level signal into a aftermarket amplifier that can take 4-channel high level in. Everything is done for you. We haven't cut a single wire in the vehicle bin. We have the ability to give you your speaker wires, speed wire to the back to your amplifier under the seat, and give you signal to your aftermarket amplifier or a 4-channel line output converter or whatever you have. Everything. If the vehicle has power connections behind it, we're going to give you ground and constant. If there's a remote application, we have that too, in order to be able to give you that connectivity to also provide power in those same scenarios. What else could you ask for, Ben? This is a simple, easy way to connect in the vehicles, not damage factory wires, not solder through a harness or cut into a harness that we didn't know exactly what the wires are, guessing for polarity on wire color. We've already done it for you. It makes it that much more simple. For a LockPro harness, the ability to scan the QR code on the back that's always being updated for applications that we continuously come out with. We've made, our engineering team has made so many LockPro harnesses, and these things fly off the shelf. So hopefully people are understanding the need for a LockPro harness within the bay. But let's take it one step further. Now we've talked about non-amplified LPH, factory radio power, non-amplified. What if I told you, Ben, we also have a solution for amplified vehicles? Now we have APH harnesses. APH harnesses are the sister harnesses to, or the accompanying harnesses to, the AmpPro family of products. So now think about this. With an AmpPro, you've T-harnessed in, you've gotten your audio signal. You don't have to really go to the amplifier anymore, but where are you going to get your speaker wire connections? Now you have to cut into harnesses, run wires all over the car. Slow down. You don't have to do all that, because now these harnesses are going to allow you to T-harness directly into the factory wires and use the factory wires that are already run through the vehicle, because this is just one more thing that we thought of in order to make installing that much simpler. In these pack APH harnesses, this is a Toyota module here. We're going to be able to plug directly into the factory JBL amplifier in a vehicle, then give you all of the speaker output capabilities in that vehicle. This particular Toyota application, Ben, and remember, these don't know what vehicle they're going into, so there are 12 speaker wires here. Every vehicle may not have the full JBL system that has all 12 speaker wired, from the Corolla to the Camry to the Avalon to the Sequoia, Tundra, Tacoma. You never know, even some Lexus applications. But we have the ability to give you up to 12 speaker connections in that vehicle platform without cutting a single wire in the vehicle. If you need the factory signal to go into an aftermarket DSP or DSP amplifier, boom, we have that harness for you to give you that signal to go into your device. If you just need to connect to the speaker side of things, everything you need is right here. Now, we even went even further in having the thought process of how other vehicle platforms need to work. This is the APH FD01. Ford, we know Ford is a very strong platform. Within the Ford platform, there's all the harnesses you need for the Sony systems. And with the AP4 FD31, you actually have the APH harness included in the AmpPro. Since you're already doing that installation, we already know you need it. So instead of selling it separately, as a winner, we went ahead and included it in the box. But I want to talk very briefly about this APH FD01, because one of the neat things included for this platform only is the factory speaker harness, so that when you disconnect it from the factory amplifier, we even included a harness to plug back into the vehicle that has the load resistors that Ford needs in order to maintain the chimes through the audio system. Because if you don't know, if you've been in a Ford vehicle and you unload that factory amplifier, it then pushes all of the chimes through the little speaker in the dash. And that may not be the best audio. You may not be able to hear your parking sensors or anything else like that. So this was another really unique gem that we came up with because this platform needed it. And this gives you the ability to now retain and maintain your chimes in the right orientation. Every kit for different vehicles has every harness that you need. Power integration, all your speaker harnesses, everything that you need for different platforms. And we know that the forward amplifiers are really far away in a lot of applications on the back wall of trucks. So we make sure we give you enough speaker wire in these harnesses in order to reach to those vehicle locations for your products. So what does this mean? This means that PAC is looking out for the installers. It's looking out for the dealers. We want to ensure that we give you the ability to replace, to integrate, to add a line output converter, to add an AMPRO. If there's an AMPRO not available, here's a LockPro harness for a non-amplified vehicle. Here's an APH harness that you can take multiple channels of signals and run into your aftermarket DSP, run into your aftermarket DSP amplifier, and still be able to correct signal, connect into the vehicle without having to cut a harness, cut into the vehicle, get polarity wrong, get positions wrong, whatever the case may be, Ben. This is a clear indication of where we at PAC want to ensure we have all the tools available to technicians to integrate audio as best as possible.
Now, Jeff, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I like stripping wires as much as the next guy. But, dude, with the advent of T-harnesses and the sheer amount of availability applications that PAC is providing, dude, I would be all up in those for sure. I know you guys agree as well. Now, before we let you go, I kind of saved this little tidbit for the end here because, yeah, you know what? Everything you talked about pretty much covers 90%, maybe 95% of the vehicles coming to the base. But what about those extra difficult vehicles? The ones where I want to get a little bit more connectivity and really get into that CAN bus, for example. Do you have any secret tools in your little toolbox there that could help out?
Secret tools? Nah, we don't have those, but what we do have are solutions. Here's a solution that's relatively new that we've had for a while, and it's still one of those things, you know, when something's new and people learn about it one time and then they need to be reminded a few times. This is that product. This is the CanPro CP1S. This unit allows you to connect into a vehicle platform and give you outputs that we typically need for adding aftermarket equipment. Let's say you're adding a radar detector to a vehicle. Let's say you want to find a switch power source for remote input, or you're adding a backup camera. You need rear reverse input. You might need a turn signal camera input, things like that. That is the specific reason why the CanPro module is sold with vehicle specific harnesses. If you go to the PAC website, you will find that there are currently 3 offerings available for Ford and for Tesla, but there's many more applications coming. These modules have the ability to T-harness into a vehicle, adapt into a vehicle's data bus connectivity points, whether it be in a center console, under a dash, whatever it may be, and then give you multiple outputs that can be used to help simplify installation of aftermarket 12-volt equipment. We have the ability to give you an output triggers that are positive output triggers up to 250 milliamps that you can use to trigger a relay, whether it be a turn signal, accessory, an ignition, a reverse wire, you name it. There's multiple different applications, and you simply go to the CAN bus module itself according to the need of that product that you're installing, and you simply turn on that output via the dip switch. So you may not need all 9 outputs. You may only need 1. You may need 2. You may need 3. You simply plug in the module, T-harness into that vehicle. That vehicle's data bus and power are going to turn the CanPro CP1S module on and then give you connectivity to that vehicle to make adding all of the types of things that we do in vehicles. LEDs, radar detectors, backup cameras, turn signal cameras, you name it. So many different things. And the CanPro module, like I said, it's currently available in 3 platforms, Ford and Tesla, Mach-E, Bronco, Lightning, a lot of the different Tesla models, but there's more and more applications that are going to be available to our dealers And CanPro is one of those things that are a must-have in your bay, so that adding aftermarket equipment to modern vehicles with these very complicated data bus systems in vehicles, a pure breeze. So always stay connected to the PAC team and our website for applications as they launch, so that products like these and AmpPro and RadioPro and RadioPro Advanced kits, as we launch more and more new applications, you're going to stay up to date with the CAN bus experts at pac-audio.com.
And that was product expert Jeff Smith, man, giving us the complete rundown on the whole suite of OEM integration products coming to you from PAC. You heard Jeff mention it. We're going to put up on the screen right now. If you'd like to get any more information or details on any of the products covered on today's session, make sure you hit up the official PAC Audio website. Now, in closing, this is what I have to say about PAC. So you want to do integration. You want to be up on the latest technologies, the latest solutions, and not say no to vehicles coming into your bay with confidence. Make sure you take a deeper look into the offering from PAC. These guys have got every scenario worked out, whether you're just trying to install an aftermarket radio, trying to use the original signal because you want to change or improve the sound. Maybe it's a pre-amplified signal from one of those luxury packages. It doesn't matter. Not only does PAC got you covered with a unit to fix and get that signal, but it also has so many T-harness solutions. Why do I love T-harness solutions? A, they can't blame you if they say, oh, it's the sound system that's doing something to the car, especially for the newer vehicles that are leased. And more importantly, optimize your bay by getting everybody, all your installers at every level involved, because T-harnesses are great for those newer guys as well. At the end of the day, OEM integration, it's what's happening now. It's what's making money. PAC's got the goods to make you do all that. That's all there is to say. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM with over 150 channels in your vehicle. Your Platinum Plan offer includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.